it's hard to determine, if this is working or if it's not working.
Right.
So we want you to measure things in your life so that you can know and you can tell if it's working or if it's not working. That helps you to grow. It helps you to be able to know what areas to go forward in and which areas to hold up in and to stop in.
Yes.
So we're just wanting to take a few minutes to just kind of talk about some headers, and then we will come back. We'll come back probably next week to just kind of address some of those things, or the next time we meet again. We're wanting to go ahead and just jump in on some of these topics.
Okay, the first topic we're going to talk dating struggles and married life chaos.
Have you had that since we've been around? Have you seen that go on? Has any of that been happening? Some dating struggles and some marital chaos. So it's not easy in any role you do.
Neither one.
If you're single or if you're married, either role is going to be somewhat of a challenge.
Yes.
Some challenge is going to face you. You're going to have to deal with something that is going to hit you. Something that's going to hit you unexpectedly. Something that's going to hit you, maybe even some things you went into eyes wide open. You knew, stop playing. You saw the red flags. You saw the red flags, maybe when you were dating, but you did it anyway. You married anyway. Maybe you, in the marriage, you saw some things that you knew was going to come down the pipe, but you went forth anyway. And now here you are in it. So what are you going to do with it?
Yes. You're going to have to deal with it now that you're in it. A key question is, are you stuck in a cycle or unsure how to move forward? Are you stuck? Well, it's a quick tip for you. Identify the red flags, knowing your worth, and stand intentional.
Wow.
Identify red flags. Always identify red flags.
Yes.
If they start out being red flags, guess what? They're not gonna change.
Right.
The color's not gonna change.
Wow.
Once you get in there, that red flag you saw, you may see it even more. It may get intensified even worse.
Yes.
If you already saw it.
It really can. Sometimes the red flags. We think let's say in the dating stage, sometimes if you're newlywed married, it's not that bad. I could deal with that. And you're thinking, that you could deal with it, but then it becomes an irritant. You become irritated, frustrated. You become angry. You become like, I hate that about this person. I don't like this about him. I just don't like when she does this or he does that. No, but if you tolerate it in the beginning, that's why whatever that started out, if it's a problem, you need to speak up.
Right.
You need to say something about it. If it's bothering you, irritating you, frustrating you, speak up about that thing. Because it only could get, sometimes it gets better, but that's usually the exception and not the rule. That's usually the exception, for it to get better. Is usually not the direction that it goes. So lots of times, they get more comfortable in their skin, and you start seeing more things that you're like, oh my God, they do this too, or they say that, or they handle things this way. That's why you need to give relationship time. But I don't care how much time you give a relationship. Sometimes people are just, they're just going to be people. They're going to be themselves. And somebody said, if they tell you that they're a snake, believe them.
Better believe them. If they show you before they get involved with the relationship, believe that. That's the case.
What you're seeing.
Believe that's the case. Don't just jump, I'm going into it, I'll change him, I'll change her. Never get into a marriage, definitely a marriage, saying, I can change him, I can change. No, if he has an apartment or she has an apartment and you go visit their apartment from time to time, when you go there, every time you go there, you see socks laying all over the floor, pants, clothes all over the place. That may more likely be who they are.
That's kind of who
so when you
are.
married up, what you're going to end up doing causing chaos because you're going to try to change them. Stop throwing your clothes over. Well, I was throwing my clothes over.
Yeah.
Every time you came to my apartment or house or whatever, this is what you saw. So, make sure you get all that straight before I know what you're dealing with.
When we had properties we were renting out, we told the person up front, we're going to do a visitation if you're one of the candidates that we're considering. And we're going to do it. You get a 30-minute notice. You get a 30-minute. And, that really doesn't give a person a whole lot of time to clean up a whole lot. Because we wanted to see the real them. Now, if I told you in advance I was coming over and you knew that you were coming over for an inspection, you're going to get things together and straightened out. So, but if you knew that you only had 30 minutes, but you're not sure when it's going to happen, and we intentionally waited a couple of weeks and we just popped up, hey, today is your day. You're on the list. We're on our way. Oh, okay. And usually if they are really disorganized or, downright nasty, just, people that had lots of things that they needed to hide because they didn't keep well housekeeping. They would sometimes, I got to reschedule. I'm not even at home, or they would make up things and we're like sitting outside like, oh, you're not. Well, your car's, I see your car right there,
Yeah.
We're right down the street. I see you right there. And you're like, oh my God. So you know what you're dealing with when you have that type of situation. Maybe that's not the candidate that you may want to pick, because you may have some bigger problems coming down the line.
There you go. That's right.
You may have some bigger issues coming down the line. So that was one way we weeded out some of the bad tenants that we just did not really want to deal with. Last minute things. But if they showed you that in the beginning, housekeeping is just, it tells a lot about yourself. A lot of things tell a lot about yourself.
True.
The way a person look in their eyes, the way a person carries themselves, the way the person is. One of my personal trainers said, your body is a report card as to what you've been doing for the last 30 days. I said, wow, that's a good way of thinking about it.
That's a good way.
You are a walking report card.
Yeah.
You are a walking, talking database. Just, we're seeing what you've been doing for the last 30 days. So you see a little extra weight on me because of what I've been doing, enjoying them pies and cakes and all that the last 30 days. So hopefully we're going to see some improvements as this new year. People are setting some new goals and they're saying, you know what, I'm going to pray more this month. I'm going to do this more. I'm going to consecrate more. Hopefully we're going to see some improvements by February, right? From all of us.
That's true. Another thing we have to do is fixing communication breakdown. Highlight common pitfalls, speaking but not listening. One person doing all the talking and not listening what the other one has to say. And misinterpreting tone. It's always important how you say. Sometimes it's not what you say, but sometimes it's how you say what you say. You can say the thing in a wrong tone and you can just really disturb and mess up everything worse than what it already was. So, and then sometimes you can be an over talker and you won't let the other person get a word in. So that means that can cause a problem. Well, I couldn't get a chance. Well, what you got to say? Blah, 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 blah. If I'm trying to talk and she's trying to talk, both of us trying to talk at the same time, that's going to be a problem. Right. I can't really hear what she's saying. She can't really hear what I'm saying because we're both talking. So you need me to just kind of let one person talk. Okay, I'm going to listen to you. Say what you have to say. Then, okay, now that person allowed you to talk, now you got to be quiet now and listen to what it's what you got to do. Okay, now it's your time. Be quiet. Sit there like a nice little child and listen to what they have to say. That's going to help your relationship to grow if you can be able to listen to one another. Not over talk each other, but listen to one another. Emphasize the importance of clarity and kindness in tough conversations. Emphasize the importance of clarity. Make sure that, let's make sure that we're going to talk about what we're talking about and be clear. Don't leave no doubt in nobody's mind on what I thought you were saying this. I thought you were saying that. No, I said 1 + 1 is 2. I don't want you to have no doubt that I said 1 + 1, but make sure that person understand what you're saying.
That's why the mirror effect is really
That's good.
important.
Yeah. Okay.
Repeating back, because I can hear you, but I interpret what you're saying totally different than what the words that are coming out of your mouth. Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Right.
But that person may interpret it totally different.
Make sure.
So if they're interpreting it different, you need to allow them the opportunity. Can you mirror back to me?
Yeah, right.
We call it in counseling. Mirror back. We want to hear what you're saying. And if it doesn't sound like what I'm saying, then that person's not getting it.
Right.
They're not getting it. They're not comprehending what that person is saying.
Yeah, but make it clear. Make it clear what they're saying.
So, okay, you talked about the speaking and listening. That sometimes is challenging when you're with a person, you see them kind of getting ready to jump in, or you see them doing some body language. They're not really listening.
Right.
When they're ready to go on with their point that they want to bring out. They're ready to come on with their point when they're not focused on the conversation or letting you finish out. Some people really do need to take notes in between, but don't be like this one couple we were counseling. Remember, they were just writing the whole time. Write. I said, no, what are you doing? This is an important conversation.
Right.
What are you doing? Why are you sitting there writing? I can see taking a little note saying, okay, when you mentioned about my mama or whatever, okay, put a little note down or something to remind yourself to discuss that. Or, you talked about me shopping a lot, or you talked about me bouncing a check, or whatever. But you don't sit there. He was just writing the whole time, just writing. And finally, they start irritating me. I'm like, maybe you used to it, but I ain't used to it. That's a form of disrespect.
Right.
It's a form of disrespect. You're not paying attention. Body language means so much in a conversation.
And you can't see what the person writing. They could be writing anything down there. You ain't just trying to stare at their paper.
Right. Do you remember that couple?
I remember that. I remember that. Yes,
I could have jumped over that desk.
Sure, yeah. So that kind of thing. Make sure, you're having a conversation. Pay attention to what somebody's saying.
Yes.
Pay attention and listen.
Yes.
Then when it's your time, you don't want nobody doing something else. I'm going to file my fingernails while you talking. No, you don't want that. No, that polish my nails.
Right.
I'm gonna cut my nails.
Like we sitting there looking
let me get a mirror and make sure my hair is okay. And I
literally sit up there watching.
No.
I'm like, wait a minute, how long are we gonna let this go on?
Exactly.
No, you know what? Somebody gonna say,
do you want to be here? I mean,
right?
We need to go. We can go.
We just said, hey, wait a minute.
Yeah.
We do you need a few minutes?
Yeah, because we don't.
You need a few minutes because right now
it's really
what
a
you're
time
doing,
waster.
It's like I'm sitting up here doing my nails,
and
I'm not listening, and I'm not engaged.
Not at all.
And what you're saying, I'm acting as if it doesn't matter.
Right.
It doesn't matter. This is your life. Respect it.
Right.
Give it a few minutes at least and listen, hear out. But when you don't care, your body starts showing.
It'll show.
What's in the abundance of that heart, that mouth is going to speak. Be it through words or be it through actions.
Yeah.
And that's what was happening. It was just so disrespectful in the conversation.
So be ready to emphasize all of the major things and be clarify the things that you're talking about, and be aware of what's being said and make sure the other party understands the things that you're saying. So that'll be good. They'll understand
just
what's
to make them
said.
repeat it back. So tell me what how does that sound to you? What does that look like in your world? What I just explained to you. What does that look like? Because this is important to me. This here hurts me. This is hurting me. This is causing a problem in our relationship. And this needs to be done in dating, prior to relationships, and once you have jumped over that broom. Whatever relationship, it needs to be done with sisters. It needs to be done with brothers. It needs to be done with mothers and fathers. It needs to be done in all types of relationships. You need to get a total, full comprehension as to what the person is saying.
That's true.
What are you saying? What exactly you're saying, so that we can move on. We can have peace in this matter.
For sure, when you're dating, make sure you get that straightened out while you're dating. If you're dating someone, make sure you get that settled before you even marry. Because if they're not paying, if he or she is not paying you any attention while you're dating, guess what? Say what? It's not going to change once you get married. That's not going to change. No, they're going to pay you maybe less attention because you didn't straighten it out for the year or 2 years, however long you all dated. You accepted him or her treating you like that, and you were okay with it then. Now you may have gotten married. Now it's really frustrating you, but that was the person all the time. But you just didn't say nothing. You just let it because you were so infatuated with the person and having somebody. No, don't go into a relationship. Don't go into a marriage like that, being infatuated. Don't go in with all infatuation and no conversation. Infatuation and no conversation. No. Make sure you have some conversation, some meaningful conversation. Especially when you're dating or you're thinking about marriage, make sure you have some meaningful conversation. Talk about some of everything and try not to leave nothing out. Even if you have to write some stuff down. Okay, we're gonna talk about this. We're gonna talk about it. So you don't leave no stone unturned. Because when you say I do, you saying I do.
That's it. And that's for a lifetime.
Yeah.
A lifetime. It really is.
And it ain't no Elizabeth Taylor's type situation. No, we don't go like that. We don't roll like that.
What Elizabeth Taylor say? What Elizabeth Taylor
Don't get too comfortable. I ain't going to keep you long. She just went one behind another, all these different husbands she had, and she didn't keep none of them very long. And I guess most all of them that she did marry made her realize this. Oh, wow, she didn't keep this one very long. What make me think I'm going to still, So no, you don't want to go into a relationship looking like, hey, I'm going to be with you for a little while and then I'm out of here. No, get everything straight before you get into the marriage, and don't get mad because they doing this, that, and other. They were doing that all the time.
Right.
But you didn't say no. You thought it was cute, or you just overlooked it. Because because you didn't want to. You wanted a man or a woman or whatever the case was.
Wow.
But no.
Let's talk about tone for a minute.
Okay.
Sometimes with men, they'll say, "Oh, they got that soprano voice." Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm just trying to do this and that. Or they, then you can feel the intention, you can feel the tension in their voice, or women, with their maybe, whatever tone that they're using, maybe they're condensating type of a tone, or maybe out talking you or talking louder as if you're deaf now,
right?
Or the saying it in a way, as if you're talking to your child. And sometimes you need to examine how you even talk to your child.
Right.
Maybe it would be better relationships with mothers and daughters or fathers and sons if the tone was right. Tone matters.
Yeah.
Tone really matters.
Yeah.
How you say what you say.
What you say.
Now sometimes it's good to practice on, a good friend, or sometimes you're getting ready to say, and hopefully that good friend is telling you gonna say it like that.
Right. Right. You don't want no yes friend.
Or maybe even record. We got such modern phones.
Right.
Record yourself. How do you sound? Now, if you're offensive to yourself,
right.
You're like, give it a day, give it an hour.
Yeah.
They say when you're typing a letter, go away, walk away from it, come back and read it again. And if you're, because people can't understand the tone in a letter, a text. Sometimes you need to what? Pick up that phone.
Yeah.
Voice to voice. Pick up that phone. Stop just thinking, depending everything. You've learned so much in a conversation.
Yeah.
You learn so much more than just that text. Yes, no.
Right.
Later on. But you learn so much. You learn so much. I could just remember some conversations like, hey, we would not have known any of this had we not picked up the phone and had a literal conversation. Not a text. Not a tweet, not a messenger, but a conversation.
Yeah.
And it makes a difference.
It's important.
That's
really important. Just a conversation. It makes them. It's important for you to be able to do. So if you are planning on marrying, thinking about getting you a marriage, a husband and wife, make sure you're all on the same page and conversate. Have a real meaningful conversation with each other before you just say I do. If you're having a whole lot of issues before you get married, it just might not settle down once you say I do.
Necessarily.
Not
doesn't
necessarily.
mean it's going to get any better.
No.
Sometimes because more broken communication, life starts happening. You're busy going your way. I'm busy going my way. And we try to come together. Lifetime is shorter. Seems like when you're together, it just gets to be shorter. Your tension, you got to make last minute decisions. People sometimes get offended.
Right.
And maybe that's not how they were raised. They were raised, you sit down at the dinner table or this or that or have a big meal. All that stuff needs to be discussed and brought out. And offense is so easily to happen. You get caught up in the moment, the time. You forget things. You forget birthdays. You forget special appointments. Woo, you in trouble.
So, you used to sit at the dinner table. He used to go in there watching the football game or basketball or whatever. On the living room couch. So that may be an issue for you. But these are, like I say, these are things you need to make sure that you have in concrete before you say I do.
Yes.
While you're dating, get your data. Get all the data together while you're dating.
Yeah.
So when you get into the marriage, you won't be trying to collect data.
Right. Stuff you should have already been discussed or had an inkling on. At least an inkling.
Right.
Some form of inkling, I didn't know you had another child.
Right.
Huh? And you just finding this out? I didn't know, this or that. I mean, some serious things.
Yeah, and serious. Could be
that
really serious.
We hear, like, wait a minute, you all didn't talk this through? Who married you all?
Right.
Who put you together?
You don't get no counseling from nobody?
They didn't counsel you or talk to you about any details? Well, shame on you for doing it, number one. Yeah. And shame on them for just putting you together, for putting together sake.
Yeah.
Because some things need to be discussed on this side instead of on the other side of the broom. Yeah. And it's important.
Yeah, because it could be kind of bad once it get on the other side. It could be, now you ready to go to the divorce court and you just got married because you didn't know this, that, and other about the person, But have that conversation. Have an open conversation with each other and make sure you explain everything. Don't hold back nothing. If you're talking about marriage, don't hold back nothing. No secretive nothing. that they find out, like you say, I got 2 or 3 babies across town. What? You got, where they come from? You know, all that. No, you don't want to do that.
Right.
No, you want to be open. Before you say I do, be open with your mate, or him or her, or whoever the case may be. Me and my mama don't get along, or me and my dad. Discuss all of this, all that kind of thing. So you'll be everybody. Right. Nobody will come to the table with something up under the table.
Right.
So I'm putting everything on top of the table that everybody gonna know. Hey, you gonna know what kind of money you got in the bank. I ain't got no money in the bank. What? No. So you got to be able to know all this. Openly talk about everything.
Right.
Before you say I do.
That's right. And just to recap, pause and respond. Yep. Let that person, let it sink in for a second. Everybody's not the same level of argument that you are.
Right.
Some people are not as strong. Some people are writers. They feel better with expressing it in writing. Some people need a minute to digest what you're saying. If you're fast on the draw with the trigger, and you're like, just whirling it out there, they may not be as fast on the draw. And, and you're not allowing a finished conversation to happen. So you need to pause and respond, use that method, and, just to make sure, are you caught up with me? Are we on the same page?
We're on the same page.
Hello, Earth to Herb and Earth to Tom.
That's right.
Earth to Crystal. Are we on the same page?
Make sure.
Because if we're not on the same page, maybe some people are the type, they need to kind of let it sink in, and then they have a good comeback,
Yeah.
But it was after they let it sink in. But now you've gone on. I don't want to talk about it no more. I don't want to talk about it. That's not so fair, because now you're kind of maybe dealing with uneven ground. I'm not the same arguer or processor, as you are. I don't process things as quickly as you do, or maybe it takes me a minute to digest it. You need to pause and respond and make sure that they are understanding the conversation like you're trying to interpret it. So you're on the same page.
But let's not wait 6 months later to deal with
No.
You remember 6 months ago that I've been in
That's ugly.
No. If you got to wait that long, you just got to suck it up and deal with it. Because you can't wait those 6 months and then go back and kind of pull something up out under the rug.
Like, what? I don't remember. No. I do not remember.
And I'm not going to try.
Right.
I'm trying to remember yesterday.
Right.
You're talking 6 months ago.
Talking about what?
No, get it.
Remember, last year, 4 years ago, you didn't help me take the tree down. You didn't remember that? No, I really don't. Why didn't you say anything then?
Why?
Because I was just trying to get through the holiday. Get through the holiday. Well, you should bring up some things right then. Let them know, hey, babe, I don't mean to open up a whole can of worms. But I just wanted to point out, remember you told me to remind you.
Yeah.
Next time I do that or I see something that I don't like, this is what I'm talking about right here.
Right.
This is what I'm talking about.
Right.
So can you please, not yawn again? Look.
No. Talk about it. Yawn didn't come back. I'm sorry, what did you say?
I got you. I saw you. Look.
Acting like they boring you.
Right. No. Hello. I'm pouring my heart out.
Right.
You yawn. I'll get you some coffee.
Now, what I was saying is this, that.
Right.
Now I got to repeat myself to you since you over there all yawning. But this is good. If you do have a mate, do what you can to enjoy your mate.
Yes.
Enjoy each other.
Yes.
And do what you can, try not to make, life will bring on enough problems and issues on the outside of the house.
Yes, it will.
Versus on the inside. So try and make inside your house as pleasant as possible.
Yes.
Yeah, and be peaceful in the house. You don't need all that arguing and fun. You go to work and you have to deal with all that kind of stuff. May go to church and have to deal with something like that. But in your house, let that be your castle where everything can be peaceful.
Right.
And discuss things in a lovable tone, in a lovable manner, and lovable tone.
Watch that tone.
Yeah, watch how you talk to one another.
Yeah.
That plays a great role in how you talk to one another, and what you say and how you say things.
How it comes out.
Yeah. One
One
thing about people, they always will remember the bad.
Yep.
They would remember the bad versus the good sometimes. A lot of times. They would remember the bad. Yeah. They were my people.
And they say they not even remember you, but I remember you left a bad taste in my mouth.
That's it. Sure it will. Sure it will. What's your name? I remember you left a bad taste. I don't know your name, but I know what you did.
Something about you. Something you did. Something you said.
That's what they do.
Sometimes we see people, we've seen both of us had this happen. They can't remember. They remember the face. They remember the title of the sermon that you preached, or they still call you and tell you about it. That's when they see you. Ooh, I remember the sermon you preached at the council. We get people talk about that a lot. Ooh, dropped by man and picked up back out.
Yeah.
Ooh, I can remember that. I'll never forget that. They don't remember you specifically, but they remember that title of the sermon or of something about you that stood out to them.
Yeah.
So
that's people. That's human nature.
That's our nature. Yeah. Leave an impact.
Oh, leave an impact. All right, we're going to leave impact tonight because
we get ready to shut off early. And you take care. We'll come back next week on
Swanigan Inspiration.
Happy New Year.
See you next time.
Bye-bye.
Happy New Year.
Take care.